I'm George Sherman, CEO of GameStop. Just a few days ago, I was wondering what a customer looked like. Now I'm running one of the country's highest valued companies. My net worth grew so much, Heidi Klum wants to date me. How did I do it? Innovation. Other companies might be willing to deliver video games to you anytime, instantly via download, but not GameStop. GameStop is your one-stop shop for physical copies of video games. All you need to do is ask your mom to drive you to the mall in the middle of the pandemic. Just make sure it's during our store's limited open hours. Best of all, if we don't have your game in stock, we'll order it for you, and you can have your mom drive you back to the mall to pick it up in just 2 to 7 days. It's just that easy. The verdict is in. People love brick-and-mortar stores. There's no other explanation. GameStop. We're back, like Radio Shack. You're listening to Questionable Material, produced in New York by Jack Helmuth and Brian Sack. QMpodcast.com. Laid back fire department.
God, I've got a fire. There's a fire over here. There's a fire.
Whoa, chill. What?
Okay, just listen.
Yeah.
I'm at 47 Main Street. There's a fire in my kitchen right now. It is spreading. It has caught hold of the curtains. And as you know, I run the daycare here. So please get over here now.
Take it. Stop and smell the roses, my friend.
But all I can smell is ember. There's no roses to smell. If there were roses in here, they're burning.
All right. Can you describe the fire? Is it like something that needs like a fire department to show up for?
For sure. It is. What is it now? 12:33 on a school day. I run a daycare at 47 Main Street, and my kitchen area is on fire. We were reheating some mac and cheese.
How do you think it happened? Is it like an arson or something? Or it sounds like just maybe haphazard mac making, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's probably a kid, like a little. I don't imagine it's arson. Is there arson around lately?
No, I don't know. Well, we haven't. It's not something you really notice unless you're looking for it.
Okay, well, should we be looking for it? Well, no, first of all, we just need. You get me distracted. We need someone to come down here and put out the fire.
All right, we got like 23 minutes left to go on this episode. Do you mind if it's kind of, we'll go like once we get dressed up.
What are you watching?
Game of Thrones. We're way behind.
Are you? So you don't even know what happens?
Yeah, we're still in season 2. I mean, it's looking great. They spent so much time on every episode.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just.
No, you definitely won't be disappointed.
They really develop these stories.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, and then they will until the very end. All
these storylines. It would be a shame if it just suddenly got wrapped up real quickly, like in like 2 episodes.
Well, they wouldn't put people through that. I mean, this is everything.
You would Game of Hope, so.
You would Game of Hope. God, you're kind of fun to talk to.
Thanks. Well, it's just we're chill here. We don't freak out. You got fires happen.
Oh, fire's shit.
Conflagrations.
There's a fire down here. I keep forgetting.
Oh yeah, that's right. You mentioned it. Okay, so what are we at now? Like, how many bells are we at? Like, is it?
It's spread to the roof. The roof is actually on fire.
How old's the roof? Because if you think about it, if your roof is like 30 years old, maybe it's time for a new roof. And now this is kind of like fate, on your side saying, hey, you're going to get some insurance money for this roof, and you'll be all set.
Really?
Yeah.
How does so you would just get the whole check as long as the place is insured?
Yeah, I mean, you have insurance, right? I mean, you have to have insurance.
I think so. I let my wife handle that stuff.
Oh, then you probably have it because women are good at stuff like that. They really pay attention to things.
They really do. We've got, assuming she makes it. I mean, we've got some great women here in the back of the schoolhouse that we call it a schoolhouse. That they're great. They really they handle all the filing, the reheating of the mac and cheese. They do all that stuff.
Well, apparently not the reheating part. Well, if your building's on fire.
You know what? That's a good point. I walked into that.
You know what? I could have Lucas and Mike swing by. They were going to do a run anyway to Subway. So I don't think it's a big deal if they want to swing by your place and just see how the fire looks and if it needs, super attending or if it's something that can wait.
Well, I mean, it's really getting hot in here. I mean, there's
definitely
a lot of people that need rescuing.
Yeah, no, I would definitely get out of the building for sure. Because what we found is when buildings catch fire, they just keep going, and the inside gets super hot. I mean, if you want some pointers, I get down on your hands and knees, because the smoke rises, so you have better oxygen levels toward the floor. I mean, let's be honest, this world is biased towards snakes because they're right down there. So they get the best air. Tall people,
really good point.
Tall people don't get crap.
I didn't want to make this call political, but now it kind of is.
Yeah, tall people, you talk about tall privilege. No, there's no tall privilege in a house fire. I'm standing tall, 6'3", and I can not breathe. And meanwhile, these short animals and kids and people like Napoleon, they get much better air than I do. So don't give me this privilege crap.
Right. Mayor Bloomberg could just be running around the floor here, and he could be fine. He
would just go about his business, just doing just doing businessy things. Meanwhile, I'm up there, can't breathe, choke, eyes watering, having a heck of a time. It's not fair in many ways.
But then why the heck do they have the snake on the flag that says "Don't tread on me" when he's got it so good?
He's got better oxygen for sure.
Is this one of those situations where like the captain goes down with the ship because I run the facility? Do I have to stay in here or can I just get out?
Do you have a nautical themed house or business?
No, it's a wood. It was a wood house.
You can always play the Italian role. If you're an Italian ship captain, you can just get off actually before most of your passengers.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh, Chef Boyardee.
Yeah. Here we go. I'm just pouring myself a little Genmaicha Japanese tea. It's made with roasted rice and green tea.
No kidding.
It's quite aromatic and flavorful. And let me enjoy a little bit of this. And then we're going to hop in the boots and put on the jackets and we'll be on our way. How's that sound for you?
Well,
that's good stuff. Really good.
Yeah. I mean, if you could just get down here now.
No, we're coming.
I'm outside now, but
it's super hot. The tea. I know your fire is too, but the tea is definitely up there.
Yeah, no, the fire is really, really, really hot.
Yeah, but you're not sipping the fire. I have to sip the tea, and it's going to burn my lips if I rush it. So if
one of my employees just ran by me, and the only part of his body that wasn't charred to the bone were his lips.
See, he's not sipping the fire like I am with this tea. Very good tea, by the way. You can get it in a specialty store. Japanese stores, yeah, they're great.
In town?
Yeah, except there was one that burnt down last week. Jackaroo!
Hey, Brian.
Hi, Jack.
Why did you say my name like that?
You know what? I just felt a burst of energy go through my leg. A little tingle in my leg came all the way up and just made me say Jackaroo.
Oh, you might want to have that looked at.
I will actually. I have an appointment.
Okay. Well, I'm flattered nonetheless. So, Brian, I was as I'm wont to do, you have, very lax internet security at your home for your private internet server. And I was able to once again break into your, into your computer. And I saw the list of screenplays that you've written recently. And I'm really, really excited to sort of hear about some of the movies that you have sort of in development. You're always writing screenplays. You write probably 4 or 5 a month, wouldn't you say?
I'm pretty prolific when it comes to writing screenplays. I'm a screenwriting machine. Mm-hmm. I am a writer of the word for screen, as we say in the screenwriting business. I like to put pen to paper and create stories, Jack. I like to create stories that can be told for generations to come when they're put down on the old celluloid, as we call it in the movie making business. Sometimes screenplays are 3 minutes long. Sometimes they're 4 hours long. It really just depends on the urge you get. It depends on your muse. It depends on a lot of factors. Also, how much cocaine you've ingested. Obviously, more cocaine means more screenplay, as many screenwriters can tell you.
I wrote down all the titles I could find of the screenplays in your computer. I was wondering if I could ask you what your movies are about.
Absolutely.
Okay, wonderful. So the first movie, so cool. The Curious Case of Pat Sajak.
The Curious Case of Pat Sajak. Yes. Oh my gosh. I forgot that I wrote that.
I bet you did. Well, yeah, I mean, my gosh, I can't imagine a full screenplay, a full movie with that title doing well. What is that movie?
Well, he's a lovable character on TV. He's a game show host.
Yeah, I know.
He's the host of Wheel of Fortune.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens, it's the story of a detective named Bill Nortonson. He's a detective.
Uh-huh.
And so he noticed a pattern because he was a big avid watcher of the show, the Wheel of Fortune.
Uh-huh.
And he noticed that, the players, when they spun that wheel, when they hit bankrupt,
Mm-hmm.
and they lost and they were sad. But he was reading the paper and he saw that a player who had recently on Wheel of Fortune and who had hit bankrupt was found dead.
Oh.
Yeah. And so he's like, well, that's weird. And he started doing a little research and he found that all the players who hit bankrupt are eventually murdered. And
What?
yeah, there's a 100% murder rate for people who hit bankrupt on Wheel of Fortune. So that got him going. Yeah, that got him a little excited. Like, well, what? Obviously, there's some kind of connection here. That can't be coincidence, is what he kept saying. So he did a little sleuthing, and he found out by getting the phone records for Pat Sajak, that he was in the same neighborhood as the person who was murdered on the same time.
Huh. And
put two and two together. And basically I hate to give away the end of my story, but Pat Sajak is a brutal murderer who killed everyone who ever hit a bankrupt. And this is based on a true story. It's a story that the author completely believes wholeheartedly. And
that makes it a true story.
Well, there's an internet person named X, who's an anonymous source who's been feeding him information, and he believes that Pat Sajak is a brutal, remorseless killer, and that is the curious case of Pat Sajak in a nutshell.
Yeah, and does Vanna White play any sort of role in this movie?
Yes. So in all my scenes, that I'm like Hitchcock and that I like to write myself into the movie just for a quick scene, quick cameo.
Yeah,
just a funny little thing like Hitchcock walking a dog in the background or something. So there's a scene where I am seduced by a beautiful blonde game show hostess. And there's just like there's a small montage, I'd call it, of just a romantic montage.
Oh, I love romantic montages.
And so we're hoping to hire Vanna for that scene.
What are some of the scenes in the montage? Because you're going to have to sort of capture a lot of scenes to sort of cut together a montage.
Well, we're in a bookstore and she looks over and sees that I'm reading a book, and I look over and see that she's reading a book, and she's reading the Kama Sutra, which is the Indian Bible to lovemaking. And she looks at it and looks at me, and then she points to the book, and I nod knowingly, and I hold up my Mentos. And then next thing I know, she and there's a montage, and it's, it's basically pointing to the picture in the book and then nodding our heads and then figuring out how to do that particular pose, whether it's the iron butterfly or the singing lotus. They have so many fanciful names.
What are some others?
The bursting orangutan, the stunned hyena, the whimsical badger, and the squatting beaver. There's so many. Such a colorful book.
Man, I haven't read that book since grade school. I gotta brush up on some of those.
I'll give you my son's copy.
All right, let's the weird montage to sort of jam into a murder mystery horror slasher flick.
That's what her agent said.
Okay, Curious Case of Pat Sajak.
Yeah.
So here's a movie I'm curious at how and why. Why would you make this movie? It's called Chutes and Ladders, the movie.
Yes.
Why would you take that beloved board game, generally meant for children? Once you hit 6-7 years old, you're done playing that thing, I think. Chutes and Ladders, the movie. What is that movie about?
So Chutes and Ladders, the movie. Yeah. So, I was playing the game with my kids. And it's kind of a euphemism for, success and failure, how your neighbors, kind of like, oh, I'm doing better today. Oh, I'm not doing better today. Oh, life threw me a curveball. Oh, I won the lottery, that kind of stuff. So, this game kind of shows how life can be very random, right? One minute you're the, what is it? The cock of the walk. And the next minute you're a feather duster.
Yeah.
So
nice.
I approached Milton Bradley and I said, I'd like to make this a movie. And they were super excited. So they sold me the rights. And what I did in the business is called a trickaroo. Because, because I really had no intention of making a movie about the board game. I just liked the name recognizability is what we call it in show business. Is that
what you call it?
Name recognizability.
Okay.
Or name recognition would work. And so, everybody knows that game. Everybody's played it. So my thinking was they're going to see Chutes and Ladders, the movie, on a marquee or on the Netflix queue. And they're like, oh, I know Chutes and Ladders. I'm going to watch that.
Yeah, heck with it. I'll $10 in a couple hours of my time. No big deal.
So then they press play, they rent it, whatever. And then they get into the movie, which is about a demented sex cult. So,
what?
Yeah, they're called the Blood Fornicators. It involves ritual sacrifice and heavy swinging, and it's just it's a brutally vicious and vulgar and sexually liberating film. Milton Bradley won't return my calls. They're furious. Obviously, they feel like they've been, right? They feel like they've been misled, and they were. I'm being honest. I took it in a completely different direction. They've accused me of sullying the name and in order to make some cheap bucks. And I said, absolutely. And my biggest mistake was putting that in writing because I'm sure that'll come up in the court case.
For sure.
It's something I should have said over the phone, but
absolutely.
I've learned my lesson. But lesson learned. But so I hope everybody watches it when it comes out, if it comes out.
Well, I mean, it sounds very shocking. It sounds like it'll at least get people generate some buzz, I would imagine.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, it generated so much buzz.
Who are you thinking of having in the movie?
Keira Knightley.
Okay.
So she kind of caught wind recently and she made an announcement that she'll never do another love scene directed by a male.
Oh, is that true?
Mm-hmm. So I said, okay, well, then I'll build the love scene around you. So it's basically just, her looking off into the field. And then I swapped out a scene where a bunch of people are doing it in a cornfield. And then it just cuts back to her and she smiles or cries, depending on the scene. Okay.
Chutes and Ladders, the movie.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Don't watch it with your kids.
No, definitely not.
Okay.
It's an NC-17 at the very least.
Then I found this on your computer. I'm so lonely. God, I want to die. My wife hates me. My kids hate me. And all I have is this stupid podcast with Jack. So what is that? What's that?
So there's a thing when I'm screenwriting.
Yeah.
I call it the free ramble.
Okay.
And it's kind of, you'll drink your Robitussin mixed with gin and, you'll take a couple of whatevers in the cabinet to kind of get the thought process going.
Okay.
And it's funny because sometimes you'll wake up the next day and have no idea what you wrote. Mm-hmm. And you'll look at the words and, they can be magical or they could be the ramblings of an insane person.
Sure.
And so I think this one was just channeling the alter me, like as if it was the opposite of me. Because everything you said is I feel the opposite way.
Oh.
So, and that could be the Robitussin talking or the gin talking or the Valiums or whatever the other thing is that you take for anxiety or sleep or whatever, just mix it all up.
Was there an actual screenplay in there?
Yeah. It's just not written yet.
Oh, okay. Do you have an outline maybe of what's going to happen in that movie?
No, because I'm out of Robitussin.
Boy, the pandemic is really, really hurting people. Okay, I just got one or two more.
Sure.
A movie called Wandering Hands.
Wandering Hands is a documentary about the 46th president of the United States. And it just,
neat.
yeah, it follows his hands. And it's what I did was I got special permission to attach cameras to his wrists.
Oh, okay. So you have like GoPros, like GoPro cufflinks.
He has GoPro cufflinks.
Yeah.
And so this way we're up close and we see where those hands go. I edited it down significantly. So, I mean, it's 3 hours.
It's a 3-hour documentary. How much of that movie is just like uncomfortable massages?
Most of it is uncomfortable massages. Basically cool. What I do is when it switches to a new uncomfortable massage, I just kind of pop in and I name whoever's being massaged, the massagee. So I'll just be like, you'll just see these hands slowly squeezing someone's shoulders, and then it just cuts to me going, Barbara Boxer. Right.
Keira Knightley.
Yeah.
Well, it's certainly, again, lots of good source material.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Let's see. And then, so many movies and franchises these days have origin story movies.
Yes. I love origin stories.
Love them. Right. Yeah. And origin stories or standalone movies like Logan, right? Was the movie about Wolverine, just, although he had a bunch of spin-off movies of his own. And you have created one called Piggy, the origin story movie of Miss Piggy.
Yes.
Why? That's so interesting. What? Tell us about this film.
Piggy?
Yeah, it's just called Piggy.
Well, everybody knows Miss Piggy.
Yep.
But we don't know kind of where she came from.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the story of she basically fled Iran.
Really?
Yeah.
Did I know that?
Yeah, and their pork is haram.
Yeah.
And but fortunately for her, she was under a veil.
Mm-hmm.
And so you could only see her eyes. And so this is the story of her basically hiding, but in plain sight in Tehran right after the revolution, 1979, we're talking. Well, right. Ayatollah Khomeini comes to power and she realizes, okay, she's in big trouble. She's a pig. She's haram. So she covers up. And she goes about her daily business, but she is contacted by members of Mossad, the Israeli intelligence organization. Yeah. And they enlist her to help them undermine the Iranian regime. So we spend a lot of time, with her, a lot of close calls. She came very close to getting caught. She was able to infiltrate a few places. She did a lot of covert photography. She gave them the access codes so they could get in and destroy the centrifuges. And then she escapes. And then that's where the sequel comes in. That's going to be the story of her meeting Kermit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it's funny because, growing up in Iran, she always was taught to hate frogs.
Of course.
They were the little Satan, the green Satan is what the Iranian regime called frogs. And then when she left Iran and came to the States and met frogs and came to fall in love with them and realized that they were people too, except they're frogs.
Well, that's sort of beautiful. I'm a little surprised that movie sounds way more like Argo than Muppet Babies. Yeah,
well, it's an origin story that needed to be told.
Did it? Because you got to keep in mind, I'm going to be taking my kids to that. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of whispering and explaining the backstory of Middle Eastern politics during that.
Yeah. Before you see the movie, you're going to want to talk to your kids about the Shah and kind of explain how we got the Shah into power and how that enraged the mullahs and resulted in the revolution. Those are you want to do some backstory with your kids so they kind of have a better grasp of the geopolitics in the area.
Okay. Well, I mean, is there any sort of like wacky, wacky set piece or anything, or, some fun, goofy Muppet piece?
I mean, it was starting to be a funny, goofy Muppet piece. So you have, there was a couple other Muppets who kind of would fit in Iran, not a frog, of course, but Gonzo.
Yep.
And maybe Cookie Monster, anything that looks bearded. And they start out with a song and dance routine. But then as they're doing it in the background, someone is executed by crane. And so you see them being lifted from the ground by their neck and they're hanging and spinning, and it kind of puts an end to the song and dance routine.
Oh yeah. That sounds rough.
Just wanted to say, and that's something you should probably warn your kids about in advance, that they're going to see someone go to a special place.
Uh-huh. Well, a special place, they're probably thinking like, Disney World or the candy store.
Yeah, this isn't. They've been martyred or something.
All right. You make curious decisions, but hey, it's your art, I guess.
It's a craft, and it's a skill, and it's a dream, and it's a fantasy.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Last one, Brian.
Yep.
I saw that you had the movie called Naughty Nurses 9.
Yes.
So what's that about?
It is about nurses, obviously, as the title would suggest, who are armed with vaccines, COVID vaccines, and they go up and down chutes and ladders.
Why did you call that chutes and ladders?
Because I figured like I owed the Milton Bradley people something.
This is your make good movie?
I don't know how to make good.
What's going on in your life, Brian?
Well, my significant other / wife has an opportunity to open up a what would be a very nice quality sandwich shop, cafe type thing, at very minimal risk. Like we wouldn't have to do rent or anything like that. It's basically somebody who wants it on the premises, and she's willing to tackle that. So that she's very excited.
How is that going to impact your life?
We'll find out.
What are you scared of?
I don't want her to succeed. I need to prevent that. Mm-hmm. If she succeeds, she'll leave.
Yeah.
She'll be like, I'm better than you. I'm leaving. Yeah. Very sad.
What plans do you have to, help make sure she doesn't succeed?
Well, a lot of her cooking depends on proper seasoning and things like that. So, I mean, obviously spice sabotage is one way to go. Yep. You see nutmeg, but I put cinnamon in there, which really messes things up. Mm-hmm. I can microwave her garlic so that when she tries cutting it, it's all squishy and weird. Yeah. I'll soak the onions in gasoline. So it kind of gives it a very acidic, gassy flavor that really turns people off.
I mean, couldn't you just leave the onion out in the sun? I mean, do you really have to soak it in gasoline?
I'm just thinking of options. I want to, I want to be efficient I want to really turn people off from the get-go. I mean, it's very important that their first impression is the last impression, that they never give another chance to this operation.
You really need her to fail.
I need her to fail colossally. So I can do this kind of gesture where I cross my arms and I just go, I saw that coming. Yep. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The
smug.
I mean, yeah. That could last 15 years of marriage to sort of end arguments.
Yeah.
That could be a very powerful tool for you.
Yeah. No, I'm very excited for this. I'm coming up with a lot of great ideas.
God, my prayer. What other sort of ideas do you have to sabotage your restaurant?
Well, one way is I've been in charge of coming up with a name.
Okay.
And I'm going to work my hardest to convince her that Crap World is a name and the only name that's available. I'm going to tell her all the other names have been taken.
Yep, at the trademark office.
Yep. And I'm like, this is it, sweetie. And, it's fine. It'll work. The Crap World is a euphemism for delicious. She doesn't know. She
doesn't know. She comes from Poland.
Foreign country. Yeah. So she doesn't know these English euphemisms.
Okay, so Crap World would be the name of the restaurant. Mm-hmm. That I can definitely. All right, that's definitely going to lose some customers. What else? There's still going to be some people who are going to be like, shop local. We got to support local small businesses, and they're going to come to Crap World anyway. What are you going to do to make sure they have a really bad time at your restaurant? I'm going to make sure
everybody knows that my wife's main ingredients are peanuts and gluten. I already am working on a statue, and granted, I'm not very good at sculpting, but it's just it's a person just holding a sign that says "Diabetics not welcome." And
yeah, you would need to make a sculpture. for that?
That's just one of the ways I like to convey messages.
Okay. Well, it's too bad. I mean, diabetics might be a good source of customer base, especially in a small town like that.
That's what I'm trying to scare away. I want to prevent this from happening.
Okay.
No cold beverages.
Oh, okay.
And
interesting.
The only hot beverage is soda.
What you said you wanted to do something with the music in the restaurant?
Yeah, I'm going to play Gigi Allen on loop. Just angry, loud music.
Yeah.
And then, and then I have a live music from the Bolivian pot clangers. It's a quartet, and they have mallets and pots, and they're autistic, they're nonverbal, and they just go at it.
So they're desperately, angrily trying to communicate to each other through pot banging?
Yes.
Over the loop of
Gigi Allen music.
Allen?
Yeah. Who, if you don't know, he's a very angry and loud musician.
So it's competing music.
Yes.
That doesn't seem like a really great atmosphere for digestion.
That's what I'm looking for. Cacophony. I want cacophony. I want gluten. I want peanuts. I want angry mobs surrounding your table. Whatever it takes to put her out of business as quickly as possible so we can move on and find the next project to shut down.
Best of luck to you and worst of luck to your wife, pal.
Thank you. I will invite you to the closing.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Jack.
Yes, Brian.
As I have expressed to you in the past, as podcasts grow, sponsors come.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait.
And, it's not, sponsorships are nice. They provide you with a little extra fundage, as we call it in the podcasting business. And so we've been approached.
What, we've been approached?
We've been approached, and these are potential sponsors who are looking to give us money for this show in return for advertising their product and or service.
Yes.
So, and they want you to read, and the only thing is, you need to be, you can't break a character reading these spots. They just want a proper delivery of their spots. That's all they're asking.
They're looking for maximum professionalism.
Maximum professionalism or no dollars. That's what they told me.
Ugh. Okay, that's fine. I'm a total pro.
Okay, then I will send you. They sent me the ad, and I will send it to you. You haven't seen it.
I have not read it at all.
And
I didn't know we were doing this today.
Yep, you just got to read it cold. That's all I ask, because that's what they want. Then they're the sponsors. They're the ones with the money, so they make the rules.
They sure do.
Here you come. Just please, be professional.
Okay, I just got it. I have opened it, and I am ready. Ready?
Yes, please.
Can you do like call action and make me sort of feel more like a professional?
Yes, sure. Okay, Jack, this is our potential promo spot for our new potential sponsor. Read away.
Can you just say action, though?
Oh, sure. Action.
Questionable Material with Jack and Brian is brought to you by the Center for Plastic Surgery, offering the latest advancements in plastic surgery performed by award-winning Dr. Michael Boswick and his team of board-certified plastic surgeons. CPS offers breast augmentation, liposuction, Brazilian butt lifts, tummy tucks, lip fillers, and more. Best of all, it doesn't take $1 million to look and feel like $1 million. Why spend thousands of dollars on silicone implants when you can use a Ziploc bag filled with corn syrup? And great news, the Center for Plastic Surgery is proud to announce their newest member, Dr. Alonzo Picasso, who can turn your nipples into functioning doorbells. The Center for Plastic Surgery. God made mistakes, but we're here to help.
Oh, shucks.
Come on. Turn your nipples into functioning doorbells.
Hey, they're the sponsor. They can say whatever they want in their ads. That's a shame. You really blew it. That's okay.
To maybe do business with them, though.
Well, you can get yourself. It's too bad. They could have done some trade with us. Some bartering. I could have had a Brazilian butt lift, whatever that means. It's a thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a thing. People do it.
All right.
That's fine.
Is there another script?
Yeah, there's another potential sponsor. We just need as professional as possible. I'm sending it to you.
I'm sorry I blew that last one.
It's, it happens, but the world's filled with potential sponsors, and this is one of them. Number 2, this is, best of luck to you.
Thanks, pal. Okay. All right, I got it, and here we go.
And action, please.
Questionable Material with Jack and Brian is brought to you by Tim's Diner. Open 24 hours every day. Tim's Diner has no food, but does have several lovely ladies you can pay to have sex with. Technically, that makes Tim's Diner a brothel. And we can change our name accordingly. But when your wife sees Tim's Diner on the credit card statement, you'll thank us. Tim's Diner, open 24 hours. Located right off the interstate. Tuesday night is seniors night. Tim's Diner is BYOB. Vegetarian options available. Her name is Tina.
Well, I guess we lost Tim's Diner.
All that work just to not have your credit card show up as a brothel.
Yeah, well, better than Tim's brothel.
Oh my gosh.
It's okay.
Shoot, I'm sorry.
And we could have done trade out with them too, which is such a bummer.
I would have loved to have done some trade out with them. That would have been a lot of fun.
No Tim's Diner for us, but there's another potential sponsor.
Okay.
Just sent him.
Okay.
Fingers crossed. Fingers very crossed.
Oh man. We really could use this money.
Could have used Tim's Diner. I mean, barter would be fine.
Oh,
Tina's the vegetarian special.
Okay, I got it. It is open. I've not read it. I'm ready.
And action.
Questionable Material with Jack and Brian is brought to you by AJ Cullington's Bar and Grill. Good food, good drink, and great times since 1998. AJ Cullington's is the only bar and grill with a menu designed by a violent schizophrenic. Try our famous Stop Looking at Me burger. 2 patties, cheese, pickles, ripe tomatoes, and onion on a sesame seed bun that won't stop looking at me, bitch. I'm telling you, look away. All our burgers come with a side of our legendary waffle fries with buffalo blue cheese sauce. The deer head in the wall emits radio waves that are going right into my head, so help me God, stop looking at me, bitch. AJ Cullington's has 24 beers on tap, and I'll bet there's a microphone and then a napkin. AJ Cullington's Bar and Grill, your favorite neighbor.
So what? We don't need sponsors right now. It's fine.
No, we do.
Well, Jack, that was an episode.
That was an episode, and we should do another one next week.
If you say so. That was questionable material. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast. Make sure to review the podcast. Make sure to visit qmpodcast.com.